Okay, let's go here. So, Polar Improvisus tutorial. This is gonna be one for advanced players, so I'm not going to explain moves like rocket jump, rocket wall jump, micro jumps, gliding. I'm not gonna explain any of that. So if you can't do those things, then there are much better tutorials for that stuff. For example, Oral's website. Um, I'm gonna upload this to YouTube and I'm gonna put the link in the description. Hopefully I remember. Uh, but yeah, this is going to basically just be a walkthrough. I'm gonna explain my ways of doing the checkpoints, and you can use these or you can use some other ways. I'm not like that good at the map yet. I haven't practiced that much, but I can finish it, so let's go. Checkpoint 0, you wanna rocket jump here, and then you wanna rocket wall jump and flick. You don't wanna use any more rockets than that. You can even skip the rocket jump if you feel like you need to save one more rocket, because you kind of want to chain this one, and you need 4 rockets for this. So you actually want to chain pretty much everything in the first chapter. But there are some other ways of doing it as well, so you can optimize your rockets in different ways. You can skip some rocket jumps, you can, you know, you guys know this stuff, I don't need to explain it. Here, you rocket the fence. I don't expect this to be a big problem for many people, so that's pretty, you know, you can see my inputs on the right hand side, by the way, if you struggle with anything. This one also pretty simple. I only use 2 rockets here. One on here and one here, just like Mao used there. So that way you have enough rockets for the next checkpoints. So next checkpoint, flick here, you're gonna land pretty well on this block. You don't need to do anything here. Then just wall jump up. Here, there's a couple ways. You can land directly here, but that's really tough to do on a run. So the next best thing is to do it this way, and the good thing about this is that you can actually not wall bump, well yeah, wall bump, but more like boost this wall. So you can actually get really good speed, and then you need to use less rockets for this part. So you can do it like this. You don't even need this rocket, you can just jump directly here. But I would recommend this rocket because it gives you a safer landing. And you're lacking stamina probably, so it's better to not have an awful landing here. Here you don't need to wall jump. Wall jumping is a little easier when you're lacking stamina, however. So you can do it like this to save a little bit of stamina. If you have a lot of stamina, then you know, go for no wall jump. And yeah, this is my way of doing this. You can also skip this last wall, but again that uses quite a bit of stamina. You can jump directly here. It can be hard when you're chaining the checkpoints though. Checkpoint 6, you start with an onside jump here. So you shoot there and you land here. You kind of want a perfect landing, it makes things much easier. But any landing will do. So here, try to delay your second and third wall jump. If you do them too fast, you're just gonna lack height here. So it's better to try to delay them a little bit. Why can't I do this? So you see my interval is pretty slow, and it's pretty much a safe landing. You don't even need a landing rocket or anything most of the time. Here you want to jump on this block, Then you want to stop and start moving right. So you press D or whatever your key is. Mine is WASD, but maybe yours is something different. So this is the way I do this. If you want to chain this, if you don't want to chain this, if you just want to get through here, then you can do it like this as well. But I want to be fast as well. So what I do is I jump here, I start moving right, and then I sort of like numpside jump on this block. So it looks like this when I'm chaining it. This is kind of a technical checkpoint if you want to do it like me. So it's really important that you don't keep your momentum going forward, because that can screw up your numpside jump pretty bad. For me it's a big problem, so I just try to, you know, reset my momentum. You can even tap S if you want. Also make sure you don't jump too far. But yeah. You basically just rocket jump there. When you get here, you 90 degree. And you rocket jump, and you're gonna land exactly here. Don't press anything. Don't press stamina, don't shoot the rockets, don't do anything. I mean, press W, I guess, but nothing more than that. So let's try to do this. By the way, it's a hard map, so... But yeah, that's basically it. And you basically micro jump here. With rocks. Do you mean this checkpoint? It can be easier with rockets, yeah. And yeah, you can use rockets here if you want, because you don't really need them here. So yeah, that's a good point. You can do it. Moving forward, jump on this bumper. It's not necessary, but it makes things easier. So try to jump on this this left side of the bumper. Shoot one rocket here. You basically shoot one here and one here. So jump here, one there, and then you rocket wall jump with D only, or doesn't matter. Just look what I'm pressing. I think that's the easiest way. So first, you want to strafe this part. So you're pressing A only, and make sure you're not like your crosshair isn't like all wonky. Like you shouldn't do it like this or something. You should look towards this wall. So you look towards this wall and press A. Then I switch to D when I'm wall jumping. Then I keep pressing D because, you know, it kinda extends my strafe. You can hold W probably. Like, I don't know. But I prefer to only hold one key at the time. Because, you know, technically it's better. Why am I failing so much? Okay, so here only W until you need to wall jump. Pre-fire these rockets. This landing is really tough for many people. And you want a clean landing because you're gonna chain this, and I'm gonna show the chain right now. So you do it like this. Here, you might want to wait a split second, not that long. I just missed the missed the bumper, and then you land here. And this is the this is the entire chain. It's pretty long, and it's gonna be a little bit rough at first. So, if you don't want to chain, then you might be looking to just get here and then stop. But this checkpoint is a little bit, or this part, excuse me, losing my voice. So this part, god damn it, hold on. God damn it. Where is my voice? Anyway, this part is easier when you chain it, but this landing can be a little bit rough, so I'm gonna show how to do this with stopping here. So you wanna shoot pretty early on all of these walls, and if you want to be a little bit faster, then you can use only these rockets. You don't need to use any more. But you can also double rocket this one if it makes it easier. You don't also need this much speed, but you know, it's safer. Okay, now I'm just bad. Like, this is really not this hard. It's kinda hard, but it's not this hard. So 2 rocket wall jumps, last one is flick, and do everything as early as possible. Here, jump at the edge of the bumper. 2 rockets, hold stamina. I'm gonna show it from here. By the way, if you fail this second part, you can just try wall back up here. Okay, so hold stamina. Rocket jump, 1 landing rocket, and that's it. You need to hold stamina like through most of this. You can see how I do it on the no board. If you need to respawn here, then go at this very edge here. Get a good rocket jump. And by good rocket jump I mean you shoot like here. Not here, here. No, not especially not here. But like this area. And then you hold stamina and you pre-fire this one and then you jump off of the top. Pretty much like that, but just do it better. This one is kind of hard. Wow. So there. I think I was shooting a bit too high. Go power block. It's blocked, so you can't go there. I mean, you probably can if you really want to. Okay, so I never do this checkpoint with respawning. But yeah, that's basically it. Can take a while, but yeah. This checkpoint, very easy. You can do this in multiple ways. This is my current tech. I just do like this tri-wall, but you don't have to do it like that. You can also, like, if you have rockets and stamina, you can get a bit faster here, then you can even CJ up. You can probably even like skip all wall jumps and just land on the checkpoints or land on the platform straight away. But yeah, that's probably not worth going through because I can't do it, so so yeah, just try wall up, shouldn't be too crazy. 12, take the bumper, go here, hold stamina, rocket wall jump flick, and here you do the same thing, but the flick is a little bit harder, so you do it a bit more forward, and you can shoot this one too if you need to. I think that checkpoint is pretty easy, all things considered. Next one, my way of doing this descending is like this. It's pretty simple. Wall jump here, flick, Also, you should delay these enough. Not like that. Like here you can delay it quite a bit. One more time. I should really move on, because these are the easy checkpoints. And this is gonna take like 10 hours at this pace. Okay, so now we move to the final checkpoint on the first chapter. Checkpoint 14, this is a Namsei garden. So you take this off-zone shield, which has no texture for some reason, and your job is to get all the way up there. So I'm gonna show this. It's pretty simple, and if you can do the Namseis earlier in the map, then you probably can do this as well. So I'm just gonna show like a quick way of doing this. It's not really hard to understand. It's just hard to execute. And you can shoot yourself down like that. So that should be pretty simple, honestly. Not easy, but simple. So then we get to 15. Rocket jump, wall jump, 2 rockets, 2 rockets. You can rocket jump if you want. You don't need to. I don't personally rocket jump. And then I just take these 2 walls and jump directly on the checkpoint. So, gonna show that. Good strafe here. Keep your crosshair in front of you. I mean, it's always in front of you, but keep your crosshair like there at the wooden wall, so I get a good strafe. I don't think I need to. Well, maybe I need to explain like how to hard strafe, because you know it's not really. I guess some people don't really like play maps where you need to do that, so maybe it's good to explain. Here you have multiple different ways of doing this. My way is this. So first 2 walls, rocket jump, or rocket wall jump. I use 3 rockets here. So again, rockets. God damn it, it's hard to explain and play at the same time. Rockets, wall jump, rockets. 2 rockets, backwards rocket jump, rocket wall jump I mean. And then you do 1 here. You can also climb this for a little bit. But you don't need to if you do it well. This one is pretty easy, honestly. Unless you're really uncomfortable doing things backwards. If you're uncomfortable doing things backwards, then this might be a really bad checkpoint for you. I'm gonna show it. I don't even really need to explain this, I think. First, you flick, then you do this backwards thing. Do this entire ending backwards. It's really easy when you do it like this. Of course, in the beginning it's a little bit scary. You can't see where you're going, so you don't know where your goal is, really, but when you do it a couple times it becomes really easy. Here, try to delay your first wall jumps a little bit. Don't rush them, don't do it like this, because you're risking like landing at all. Also hit your wall jumps, preferably. Impossible words. And then you do this nicely. You can chain this checkpoint, by the way. You don't need to respawn. So basically, shoot 1 rocket, rocket wall jump, 2 rockets. Really easy. Sorry about the coughing. My voice is gone. Okay, so checkpoint 20, pretty easy. Trick is that you have unlimited stamina, so when you use your stamina it regens. You can see it at the bottom. So we use this like this. We jump first, And then we shoot ourselves back down to get the better speed. And then you jump at the edge. It's actually a pretty easy checkpoint. God damn it. Hold on 1 second again. Why am I losing my voice so much? Alright, we can go through this. 21, unlimited rockets, normal stamina this time. Wall jump here, flick here, rocket these. 2 rockets here, and 1 roof bump on this wall. And then at the end you just try to keep your speed and get a good rocket jump. So not like that. You need probably two roof bumps at the end. You can land kinda like that. You don't really want to land like that. You want a good landing. Hope I'm not blocking him. But yeah, this is basically it. It's, again, not that hard to figure out for experienced players. But it can be a little hard to do. There's a couple ways for this. You can use 3 rockets here and do it like this. Or you can use 2 rockets there and use 1 rocket there. Both work. Here I generally do it like this. You can also take the right side of the bumper and only do 1 flick, which might be faster. I don't know. I haven't really tested like small differences on checkpoints yet. So the end is kinda unintuitive, I guess. You can rocket this block if you want, the brown block. You can flick there, you don't need to, but you can. So you go into the corner, and I do this backwards flick when I'm exiting this wall, which helps a lot. I'm gonna show it once more and then I'm moving on. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Oops. These checkpoints, because I feel like they're pretty simple. Like, when we're thinking of techniques, these are pretty simple. Okay, so now we get to 24, which is a little more demanding. You need to wall bump this first part. So you get the speed, shoot 1 landing rocket, then you numside jump. There's like numside jump on every single part of this checkpoint, by the way. So that's the way. Gonna show it again. So I trust that everyone who's got this far knows how to do a good wall bump. Basically, you like pre-stem. You press. I tap D before I go. Just before I flick to shoot the rocket. And that's it. And yeah, like that's it. Then you have these ground numside jumps that you should already know how to do because you did them earlier. And yeah, you have actually quite a bit of time to get through this, so you're probably fine, honestly. Um, then you go down here. Here I just Namsai jump this first one, then 2 rockets here, 2 rockets on the next one, and then 1 rocket on the last wall. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. This is a very interesting checkpoint, and I'm not sure if I can actually one-shot this, but let's see. Starts at the left side of the bumper. Don't hit the bumper though, like don't hit this part. Wall jump, land here, keep using stamina for a while. There's a couple ways of doing this. You're always gonna get a perfect landing. Like when you start doing it like this, you'll be surprised how well this works. The end is the real problem. This is basically like you just pre-fire. I don't know, there's a couple ways to do this. I've even seen people skip this first block and just do this. But personally I try to shoot 2 rockets on the first one, 2 rockets on the second one, and 1 rocket on the last one. It's tough to one-shot. And you can also like get an off-zone jump. You can also like get a lucky bump somewhere. So you just fly to the checkpoint. That's usually how I pass this checkpoint, honestly. But it's still one-shottable in the intended way. So yeah, that's pretty good. So then you can also chain this checkpoint. And that works pretty well. So yeah, when you get here, you have these small EJ parts. Then you just kind of, you don't really CJ this. You don't need to CJ it unless you're super low. But you can just do this wall once and then go back, and then you go backwards and you just do the checkpoint. You CJ at the end if necessary, and it's really simple. You can kind of do this without having to CJ or do anything at the end here. But usually you need to do something, at least flick. But yeah, it's a very simple checkpoint. I would expect most people to figure that out. You can shoot a rocket in the roof here, so you don't hit it. It's a little bit faster, maybe. Well, it's really doesn't really matter. Here, you just flick this. Pre-fire it a little bit, so you don't lose height. You can climb this fence, but you don't need to. You can simply spam rockets. Then you flick this wall. You need to flick pretty hard, and then you just go backwards on this wall. Here, you can either get a really good strafe here, like that, or you can flick the first wall. On both cases you probably want to pre-fire it a little bit, so you don't like mess up the timing with the flick. So here we have another backwards flick. You actually have a pretty good grip here at the end. For some reason, I don't know where it comes from here. But you can flick a lot here. You're just gonna stick to the wall. It's really amazing how it works here. You don't need to do that though. But if you get here like that, then you can always flick up a little bit. So then, next one, good strafes again. Normal wall jump, then like a max strafe. Rocket wall jump, flicks, you know, the normal stuff. I don't think I need to explain this checkpoint much. You can just kind of check what I'm pressing. Perfect landing here helps. If you're too high, then you can also roof bump. I never need this roof bump though. But maybe it's useful for some. Okay, 32. This is really problematic for many, so I'm gonna take a moment to explain this. I start at the edge of the bumper. Not necessary, but helps. Glide a little bit. Like you see this this part without the shadow. That's basically where your first wall jump is gonna be. Hard strafe, so you keep your crosshair in front. Don't do this. Do not do this. This is only gonna hurt you. Hard strafe. Like this. And watch my key presses. I'm always strafing until I absolutely need to switch for the wall jump. On every single wall, I'm strafing until I need to wall jump. It's kind of precise key presses, but it's doable, and this way you can one-shot it. And you always strafe straight after the wall jump. It's very like robotic, very like you don't really do anything crazy here. You just do it very precisely. You're gonna mess up your wall jumps a lot because you're probably missing some key presses. I mean, I do that all the time, so. Okay, let's do it one more time and then move on. Okay, that was a bit too early, so my strafes weren't good enough in general. It's still hard, like I'm not saying it's easy. Alright, come on now. Oh, this looks pretty good. Oh, unless I mess up the rockets at the end. Okay, come on, let's just do this. At least we're getting some repetition here. Stamina is going to be a problem probably. Okay, that should be it. But yeah, you need to keep an eye on your stamina for sure, so you have enough for the wall jumps. Otherwise it doesn't really matter. You don't really need to stamina after the first few walls. but you know, you need it for the wall jumps, so keep an eye on that. Here you can EJ. This is pretty simple, honestly. Like you just EJ. Do I really need to talk about this? I mean, you can also you can also option jump, I guess. Wow, that was weird. Sorry. But yeah, that shouldn't happen. But yeah, just kind of corner this first jump, so you shoot one rocket there. It's pretty easy. Here, take the left side of the bumper. Flick. One rocket. This is kind of a corner wall jump as well. So, corner wall jump, if you're not familiar, because it's not the biggest, most famous move in the game, I guess. It's basically when you shoot a rocket behind you and then do a normal wall jump after. So it's, you could see it as like a mid-air Namsei jump almost. It's kind of similar. It's mainly used to fix direction. So here, if I do just a rocket wall jump, you can see that I'm really lacking speed. But if I do a Kana jump, then you can see the difference. Otherwise, this is pretty simple. Just get a good strafe at first. Then you jump here and you Namsei on the checkpoint. Alright, 35. Let's go. Normal jump, double rockets, 2 rockets, 2 rockets. It is really that simple. Make sure your flick here is good. Otherwise, yeah, that's it. Okay, 36. Good flicks. Try to have enough stamina here. Don't waste your stamina here because you're not going to have enough for this jump. So this means your rockets need to be really good. You can shoot a landing rocket here, and you can shoot it on this metal as well. Yeah, just get a really good flick again. Wall jump somewhere around here. I don't think it actually matters. Like, it's just a trade-off between if you want to do it early to get more height or to do it late to lower this distance. So I think both are fine. 37, you go here. Rocket jump, wall jump, and you should probably W only this end. Mouse tilting. You kind of want a perfect landing here. It helps because it gives you just enough speed so you can do this jump. Shoot a landing rocket somewhere here. You obviously don't want to shoot it at this edge, so just shoot it on top. Okay, 38 is hard. Now we're getting to the hard zone. This first part isn't really hard. You just go here, but the second part is really hard. So yeah, Namsei jump, rocket wall jump, do whatever you want really. Like this part is really not that hard. Position yourself at this corner. Like I'm not joking. Don't position yourself here. Position yourself here in the corner. And you want to W only these first jumps. So you rocket jump here, you rocket jump at the corner there, and you want to W only. Don't press anything else. And then you try to not hit this wall, and you try to strafe there. So I'm just gonna try to show it. So that's basically how I do it. I know I tapped A there, you might have noticed. That was just to correct my line, like I think my line was pretty bad to begin with. That's the problem when you go for W only, you're kinda stuck to this line. But yeah, like, you just want to get this kind of curve with maximum speed. That was too early. Might have noticed the rocket jump there. It was pretty bad. Pretty awful. Wow, I'm still on the block? What? I thought I fell. So that was actually better because it was closer to the corner than before. Let's try again. It was really bad. So yeah, this curve is difficult. It's much harder than it looks. So there we go. You don't want to hit this this wall. You just want a really good rocket jump here with really good speed, and that's why you do W only. And then you try to avoid this wall and land directly here without hitting anything before that. Next checkpoint is probably gonna take a million years. I can't do this checkpoint very well. To be honest, I don't really understand it that well yet. I really lack practice, even though I've practiced this much more than most checkpoints. But from what I gather, best way for me is to go near the fence and shoot exactly so that when you take the bumper, your first rocket is gonna hit, and it's gonna hit you at like eye level. So something like this. And then the second rocket is gonna need to be a little bit higher. And hold left mouse also for this. It's also a little bit easier to try to do it backwards. So when you do it like this, you don't lose the momentum that you would normally lose because you turn. But I can't do this honestly. Like I'm shooting too late, obviously, because my first rocket is hitting like so late every time. Also, I'm shooting probably too low. I don't know. This checkpoint is such a mental block for me. It's incredible. So if you're watching to try to understand checkpoint 39, then I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm gonna understand this one day. I'm gonna like make a video on it or something. Like I'd at least want to do it once. But it's like, okay, like clearly I'm shooting too low. It's not, it doesn't even make sense. Like there I had pretty good speed, which means I probably did something right, and there we go. Okay, so you shoot just like, you try to shoot a bit higher like this, because you gain height from the bumper, and you know, you want the rockets to hit your eye level. And yeah, that means you need to shoot higher, so they, when they land, they are pretty much on eye level. Here, wall jump down, and climb up. Nothing special really. And then just rocket, or you can go earlier and you can wall jump. Here I simply just jump twice and strafe a little bit to the right. And then shoot a landing rocket. This flick is pretty important, not that hard though. This checkpoint is also not too hard. Stamina at first. Just hold right click, shoot 1 on each one and 2 on the last one. And this next one you're gonna chain, because it's much easier when you chain it. So you're just gonna keep running. And of course I fail it. You want to wall jump pretty early here, so you have enough time. Well, there's two reasons. First, when you wall jump late, there's this edge that can kind of push you further away. And also you want the strafe to work better, so you do it like this. Optimally you wouldn't lose that much speed also, so something like this. Then we get to the final tunnel. So, one rocket, one rocket, one rocket. You can also do one rocket on this wall, but I prefer to flick this and then do just the rocket wall jump here. It's pretty simple. You can also flick this one. Doesn't really matter, I think, like time-wise. Just whatever feels better. Here, flick first, then save one rocket here because you're gonna need it later. Try to delay this rocket wall jump. So don't do it too fast because it's gonna look like this. You probably see the difference. I'm much higher this way. Then two rockets and you can shoot one more rocket here. Is Mao okay? Okay. Here you want to jump somewhere in the middle of the bumper. If you jump too far to the edge, then you're gonna have a hard time hitting this wall. So I prefer to jump like in the middle so I get a good rocket wall jump here. Hold stamina, shoot 3 rockets on these things, and then 1 rocket on the side. There are probably other ways of doing this. Need to get a good rocket wall jump. There we go. And then, yeah, that's it. Not as hard as it might look, honestly. Double rocket CJ. Don't... Okay, I've seen some people struggle with this one. Do not shoot like this. Don't shoot it like it's some weird backwards rocket wall jump or like tri-wall or something. Don't shoot like this. Shoot as high as possible. You can shoot on eye level. You can shoot it like a normal CJ. You just need to delay it a little bit so you don't do this. As this is obviously bad. You can shoot a little bit lower so it's easier to stay on the walls. So you can shoot at like this height. This works perfectly. Also notice that I hold W. Sometimes if I get a bad wall, I might hold A or D to get a better strafe so I can save myself. But generally if I'm doing everything right, I'm holding W. Then you just transition to this tri-wall by doing this wall backwards. There are many ways to exit this tri-wall. Just take whatever feels best for you. Okay, this one, you kind of want to hit this corner of either side. That's it, then you just climb. I don't know what else to say. I got a little bit lucky on that try, but that's basically how I try to do it every time. It usually takes a couple tries. There's two ways of doing this one. First, don't do this. I've seen some people do this. Do not do this. You need your rockets. Shoot like 2 max. I mean, if you do this forwards, if you do it this way, then I guess you don't need your rockets. I personally don't do it forwards. I find it easier to do backwards, so I'm gonna do it backwards. for you as well. You need to start on the side, otherwise you don't get the grip, the EJ grip. So I press W between walls, and when I'm done doing that wall jump, I switch to only A or only D. Also, I do a very small micro jump, like micro wall jump. You can eco this, you can save your rockets if you want to. I honestly don't think it's too hard. But yeah, might take a little bit of practice. Here, there's a couple ways of doing this start. I've seen some people use double rockets here. I don't do that. I generally rocket jump and then flick and then use only one rocket there. Again, hard strafe. If only I could rocket jump. So you're gonna see this a lot. Hard strafe both on this first part and then after the power block. Pre-fire a little bit, not too much though, because you're gonna waste your rockets. The best way I found at the end is to delay my wall jumps, the two last wall jumps. So you can see I do them as pretty much as late as possible, so I can get the maximum height out of both. And then just strafe here, take the shortest line from this point to this point, and then shoot some landing rockets and stuff. Normal things. Okay, no rockets on this checkpoint. I think this one is pretty simple. You don't need to chain this. Chaining this I think is really hard, so I'm not gonna chain this. I never chain this. So here you go in this corner. You can wall jump early or you can wall jump late. Whatever you want to do. I wall jump personally somewhere in the middle. The trade-off is the same as on 36. So basically if you wall jump late, you're gonna have less height, but the landing will be closer. And you know, it's the opposite if you want to wall jump early. So I'm gonna wall jump somewhere in the middle, full strafe. I only hold A. You can hold A plus W. I think it's easiest to only hold A. So you get like the best strafe possible. 53. This one's kind of a puzzle, so I'm kind of spoiling it here, but I guess it's easy to figure out. Wall jump, flick, wall jump EJ. So you only have 2 rockets and no regeneration, that's the trick. So you land here. You pretty much need to use a rocket for this wall to be able to make this jump, but this final jump has to be done without any rockets. So you sort of want to chain this last part. Makes it a little bit easier. Early wall jump, very early wall jump. And then try to strafe as hard as you can before taking this final wall jump. This one is kinda hard for me because I can't wall jump. So much for chaining, but yeah, I think most important thing about this wall is to get a really good strafe before you wall jump here. A lot of strafing in this map, in general. Okay, 54. you're trying to go on this wall and then rocket wall jump through this checkpoint. A lot of people have problems with this checkpoint. I was kind of surprised actually, because I don't think it's that hard. Basically, maximum speed. Shoot 2 rockets. Not 3. I mean, you can just spam rockets. But the problem with doing this is that you lose your speed as well. It's doable, but it's much harder than just pre-firing like 2 or 3 rockets maybe. Okay, that was a non-existent rocket wall jump. I think I still would have done it actually. Alright. Of course I'm failing this now. I mean, it's a hard checkpoint, but it's, I think, one of the easiest at the end. Like, on runs I fail this the least. It might help to... Okay, that was way too late. It might help to go like from this left side a little bit. So you go from here. You should probably run through the... or over the checkpoint though, because it gives you more speed. It's really important to get a good rocket jump. God damn it! What am I doing? Oh my god. Okay. What? Okay, even shooting accidental rockets. We're at that part of the night, I see. Or the evening. Okay, there we go. So that's my way of doing it. I have a lot of speed there because I do it like this. 55 is hard. I'm maybe not the best person to talk about this, but I guess I made the map, so I'm gonna talk about this. So the trick here is that you only have 10 rockets, and as you can see, you don't have regeneration. So this last climb becomes a little bit harsh, because you can't actually just stay there and climb forever. But you can still do it like this. So first take the right side of the bumper. I do it like this. You can find your own way of doing this, but this is my best like compromise between not losing height or speed and not using too many rockets. Don't wall jump too quickly, because you're not gonna get value out of your wall jumps. So very early rocket wall jump here, then one rocket here to kinda correct your line. It's hard, especially this first wall jump I think is pretty hard. Then delay your last wall jump here on this wall. Try to delay it as much as possible. Try to strafe before it as well. It's gonna be much easier. So this maybe work. It helps if you sort of pre-fire your first rocket wall jump. When you go to this fence part. God damn it. I might be shooting a bit too low there. Maybe you wanna try it like this. So you would like use one more rocket before this, but then you obviously have one less rocket to climb, so... Okay, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna get stuck here. I already did it once. But yeah, it's kinda hard. It's probably gonna take a while, but you can find your own way of using the rockets. Because there's multiple ways to do that, and I think most people will find it easier than me because I'm not really good at this kind of stuff. 56 is one of my favorites. My way of doing this is basically jumping, then flicking sort of behind me on the wall, and repeating that until I get to the wall. So it looks like this. That's it. I kind of avoided the checkpoint on purpose there because I didn't want to take it yet. So yeah. It's gonna take a while to learn the interwall. But yeah. This is how I do it. I've seen people do it like... Maybe they like sort of numbsay this first one, and then they just jump over these other ones. To me that seems kinda hard. I've also seen, I think Hero did it like this. So he did the second jump normally, and then he bumped after this third one. Let me try to show it. Oh no, muscle memory. Oh boy. Yeah, this is basically what Hero did, but I find the easiest way is to do it like this. You don't want to flick too aggressively because you might overshoot this or overjump this block, the last fence, but usually this works. Like when you understand where to shoot, it works pretty well. Okay, 57, this is my way of doing it. I do a normal jump, flick, rocket wall jump. Flick timing is obviously very important here. And then I do this usually backwards. This is really one of the easier checkpoints at the end here. It can take a while to understand it, but yeah. Alright, now we're at the tower. Oh boy. Alright, so I guess I'm explaining the KZ jump first. Basics of the KZ jump, or strafe jump you might have heard. Or like precision jump, I don't know what people call it. You tap W, you release, and then you jump. This gives you increased air control and especially increased like strafing power. So when I do it here, you can see that I can get on this block much easier than if I just like try to line up here and then I did some weird jump like this. Or maybe I jump without pressing anything and then, you know, try to do this, but it's much harder because you don't have much control over your momentum. So this is what you do. You tap W, you release, and then you jump. You can do it with more momentum, you can do it with less momentum, you can do it with like very little momentum. It takes practice. Like, it probably takes hours of practice. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, there have been some really good players who have spent hours on this tower and haven't finished it. So, you know, don't expect it to be an easy technique to learn. But I'm just gonna go through with this in mind, this technique in mind. I'm gonna go through every single jump on the tower. First one, this one is not gonna be a problem. Just jump here. As I showed earlier, place yourself at this corner here. Don't place yourself here. We just talked about this. Don't do that. Tap W or whatever your forward key is, then release it, then jump, and then strafe around this corner. You can see what keys I'm pressing at the bottom right. So here you wanna kinda hug the wall. This is what I feel like is the best way for me. And then you do the KZ jump again. By the way, it's still a hard tower. It's not a free checkpoint even with this technique, so I'm probably gonna fail a little bit. But yeah, I do the KZ jump, then hold D and just, you know, move my mouse around this corner. You can shoot a landing rocket. It usually makes things easier. Okay, this jump is not a KZ jump. It's pretty long. So what you need to do, or what I usually do, I place myself at this corner. I jump like to this direction so I don't hit the corner. And then when I've jumped a bit like far enough, then I strafe with D so I can land there. It looks something like this. Okay, I totally miscalculated that one. It's so hard when you're like trying to do it like that. Okay, so I also tapped S a little bit, so I didn't overshoot it this time. It's all about like air control and controlling your momentum. But the basic thing is don't smash into this corner. Don't even try to like W only this. Just jump straight and then press D to strafe into this. This jump is kinda tricky. At first at least. So you place yourself here at this very edge of the block. Then just stamina. You rocket jump and you keep holding stamina until you land. And then you need to release stamina so you don't actually like run over this block. So it looks something like this. You can pre-stamina, by the way. You can just hold it like this. Doesn't really matter. This is what it looks like. Don't shoot a landing rocket, it makes things harder, in my experience. Yeah, okay, this jump's pretty simple. Here we have another KZ jump. Do it this way. Please do it this way. You're gonna spend weeks on this tower if you don't practice this KZ jump. Same thing here. Same thing here. W, release, jump, and strafe. Here, just do like a strong jump and then break in the air. It's the easiest way. Another KZ jump here. Don't try to W only this. Do not try to jump on this edge. Just press, release, and jump. This part is scary, not that hard. You can, like when you land, it helps to jump to like cancel your momentum if you're like strafing still. So you don't like accidentally extend your strafe so you fall here. And then for the final jump, another KZ jump. Of course I fail it. It's fine. Hopefully I can do this on second try. That jump is kinda tricky, but I also failed my inputs a little bit, so... Oh, okay. It's really like the same kind of jump though. Let me just go through the tower once more. That happens sometimes, like it's very brutal, the tower. It's not easy. At least you can see that I'm not like bullshitting you with what I'm saying. Or just having luck with these jumps. Just casey jumps. Oh, one more thing about this. Try to not hug the wall. It's gonna fuck you up. Because the wall is gonna slow you down randomly. So try to stay a bit apart from the wall. Oh my god, okay. Actually impossible checkpoint. Almost fell down there. Alright. Making tutorials is hard. Alright, so like that. Then you just flick yourself up here and you spawn here. So, checkpoint 60. There's a couple ways of doing this. You can turn around with 2 rockets, or like use 3 rockets in this whole thing, and then you have 2 rockets for this. I used to do it like this, so now you would have extra rocket for the, you know, tribal. But now I do it like this. I shoot 1 more rocket here to be safe. And then with good wall jump intervals you can actually do this with 1 rocket. This one, 2 different ways again. You can do it like this. Wow, easy. Okay, that was surprising. Or you can do it like this. Okay, not first try. So you only have 2 rockets again. You can either numsay this or you can wall bump it. Both ways work. The difference is that if you numsay, you also have you kind of have a worse landing, but you also have a rocket jump there, so it kind of evens it out. So my landing is not that good, but it doesn't matter because I can kind of boost myself with the rocket jump. It's a very, very small difference, but yeah. So also aim at this part of the block. Not so much that you're gonna hit this, but like so that you can land on this. Okay. This is the final big strafe in the map. So take the edge of the bumper, not necessary, but it helps. Rocket wall jump flick, 2 rockets, and start the strafe immediately. That was bad. So again, look where my crosshair is. It's straight in front. So this is how I strafe it. And then after I do this wall, it's gonna be like this. The crosshair is gonna be here, pretty much. I don't know why I did that forwards. I usually do it backwards. So 2 rockets there. And this is it. You only move your crosshair when you need to shoot a rocket somewhere specific, or if you need to rocket wall jump. You might have some problems with this part. I know that I do. I'm often kind of smashing into this wall. But yeah, like when you get this strafe down, then this end is pretty easy. You just flick here and that's it. Here we have the invisible maze, as is the tradition. So you fall down here. You can roof bump up here. First opening. I'm kind of spoiling this, and I feel kind of bad doing that, but I guess I'm gonna do it. So first opening is here on the right. Then around where this green light begins, you have this opening on the, not exactly on this wall, but a little bit apart from it. You can see like this line here, where the green light begins. So I just run here. Then at this, around this rock, next to it rather, or maybe on top of it too, yeah. Kind of like in this position. Rip Mo. Alright, anyway, you jump on top of this, and you can, if you're careful, you can jump on this wall, like this, and you can avoid all this stuff that's here. If you don't do that, then you just go to this wall. There's an opening right here. Here, you're gonna rocket the bumper, so you avoid this wall here. Then you can bump yourself towards this wall, you jump, and there we go. There's an invisible wall here as well. So to do that fast, one more time, or sort of fast, I'm not that good. That's it. And that's what I can get there. Okay. And that's how you do polar improvisus. Alright. That is the complete tutorial, and hopefully it explains some things.